Hello, welcome to Purpose Discovery Series. I'm here to help your journey to purpose discovery, and I'll be sharing certain keys. Today, I want to share about something very interesting that will help your journey to discovering purpose. Think if you understand how it happens, how the discovery happens, journey becomes easier. I want to talk to you about how purpose is a wisdom question. My bulldog said wisdom is the ability to discern difference. You know, and I think basically that's what wisdom is: the ability to discern. One of the wisest men in the Bible, Solomon, when he was asking for wisdom, what he asked was for discernment, to tell between good and evil. And I think the more you develop in your judgment, in your discernment abilities, the easier it is for you to figure out your purpose. Because most of the times, this thing stares at us directly, and most of the times we walk past it without even recognizing that this is it. And because purpose discovery is a wisdom question, it helps when you grow. There are certain things that develop with maturity, and the more you grow, the more most of these things become evident for you. And because purpose is a wisdom question, you have to see your journey of purpose discovery as an educative one. You have to commit to a life of growth and personal development. I usually liken growth to how a child of 5 years, 6 years, there are some faculties they do not have. For instance, their reproductive organs is not yet developed. But as they grow, naturally these things develop and they get certain capacities for reproduction. That's where growth happens. The more you grow, there are certain things that have remained dormant that begins to surface. This gives you a lot of clarity because in the episode where we talked about what to discover in purpose, we discovered that there are a series of discoveries that happens. For instance, let me tell you how wisdom affects your discovery of purpose, especially the three core parts. One of the first particularly is the discovery of your core purpose. Your core purpose is the virtue or the core value that drives what you do. It's not really about the action itself, but it's the motivating drive. But then when it comes to the part where self-discovery happens, you can learn a lot about yourself by reading books, by going to sociology, psychology, human categorization, from temperaments to archetypes to types of intelligence. This gives you a very important insight. But most of the times, people do not know these things because they've not invested in their journey of growth. And particularly, if you do not know these things, your ability to discern is cut short. You might be lucky that someone might point out, okay, this is something you have in you, this part of your purpose tools, but you can't leave it to chance. If you want to discover your purpose, you must commit to a lifetime of growth and transformation. This might look very little. Most of the times you want to discover everything at an instant. You really have to commit to a journey of growing and developing. Most of the times we want the answers will not come at an instant. But as we grow, we begin to discover our area of strength. And our area of strengths are particularly the tools for our purpose. One of the ways you can commit your journey of growth is particularly in a way that directly affects how you discover your purpose. Yes, apply yourself to learning human categorizations. There are people that have written theories about what differentiates people. Learning about this will give you more insight into you. But as a matter of fact, the discovery of purpose is about becoming authentic. Reading, exposing your mind in a sense, gives you an idea of how different you are, because that is your own area of purpose. And one of the other things, apart from direct learning in books, in video, and listening, that affects your growth in such a way that helps your journey of purpose discovery easier, is by doing, applying yourself diligently to do things, stretching yourself. Most of the times, what is within us does not come out because we've always stayed in the comfort zone. But when we really apply ourselves to life, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's a small project or a big project. If you stretch yourself, most of the times, stretch yourself to the extent that you feel, by stretching yourself, you discover, okay, this is my limit. And the limit is not supposed to stop you, but supposed to give you valuable wisdom on what your strengths are and what they are not. So it's possible you might be doing the same project with someone, but by applying yourself, you discover that you have more strength in interpersonal relationships. Other people will discover that they're good with administration and not good in something else. But self-knowledge, that's how self-knowledge is gained, by actively pursuing knowledge, but also by actively applying yourself to life. And The idea of wisdom, particularly, is not just a discernment of between good and evil. It's also um, discernment between right and wrong, between good and better. Most of the times, most of our choices is limited by what is easy, what is good, you know. But true wisdom, that discerning ability will tell you, will lead you towards paths that might not be easier, might not be short-term gratification. So sometimes, because you are wise, you understand that this a path that benefits you less short-term have a more strategic purpose in the long run. This is how we develop. This is how we grow. Because most times, if you look at the short term, if you lack discerning abilities of wisdom, you always take shortcuts. But shortcuts, in a sense, because shortcuts most times will not stress you. And when you run away from stress, when you run away from discomfort, the things within you will not come out. But wisdom will tell you that sometimes discipline serves you by making you grow, by moving out of your comfort zone, by evolving you. And that is what wisdom is. And that's why it's important in the journey of purpose. It tells you to take the high route, to take the journey or the path of integrity. Not because it's not going to be painful, not because you will not make losses, but because you have the discerning ability to know that this benefits me in the long run. So, purpose discovery is a journey of wisdom. And the journey of wisdom is a journey of developing your faculties of judgment, your faculties of discernment. So, I implore you, my dear friend, if you want to discover your purpose, apply yourself to learning, to growing. You will gain self knowledge, you will gain knowledge about where you stand in the world. This is the journey of purpose for you. So I employ you, when you go out there, tell yourself that if I truly want to discover my purpose and live in purpose, I must grow, I must expand my mind, I must discover the discoveries of other men. Particularly, one of the things I discovered about learning is that sometimes self-knowledge comes when you see someone doing something similar to what you can do. From reading history, from reading inspirational stories of men of purpose, there are certain people that will connect to you more than others. If you do not expose your mind to learning, most of the times you cheat yourself of this knowledge. By exposing your mind, you might just see what someone is doing. I have writers that inspire me more than others. And I'm saying, and the reason why I see something and I love it, particularly, is because there's something else that we share that is similar. It gives me a lot of clarity by seeing their own journey. That okay, this is part. This might be a similar part for me. These are the little wisdom that accumulate into the bigger picture of clarity. So, self-discovery is a journey of wisdom. It is the pursuit of wisdom. When you go for more wisdom, the more you become wise, the more your ability to discern your purpose becomes clearer. Thank you very much. Join us in our next session. God bless.